Thank you. Folks, this is a real exciting event. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the White House participation due to some other timing. They did send me over to represent and say thank you very much to the UK for both participating in an event in DC while at the same time being a leader in the open government data environment. We have a friendly banter back and forth, and this is one of those last-minute things, so I apologize to all those speakers whose time I'm taking, particularly some who have been very participative from the UN and from around the globe to help both of these events sail far beyond our expectations. The energy from this event has helped me overcome the jet lag, but I'm not the only person that's been at both events. We have a representative from the ministry in Poland, Igor. Sir Tim was a keynote speaker with the federal CIO at our meeting, and I guess it's going to take us a little time to go through this. So, as you can see, I just decided to go ahead and show all the slides from our event. It was a 3-day event. You notice there's 306 slides and 2 minutes per slide. Let's get started. We did put on a very good welcome, and there are 306 slides in this, but this isn't all of them. I cut some of them out. And this is an old cartoon published in the 90s. Information, $1. Information you need, $500. Well, today that's probably $500,000. And this is the group here that's going to change that paradigm. This group here, working with all of the governments and forcing those at the government level who don't want to become participative. We're fortunate in the U.S. that we get to work with a less restrictive federal level or central government once we publish data. Public data has been available from the Commerce Department for over 100 years. So for us, open government is kind of business, is normal. But open government in this society, with what the President Obama wants it to be, is transparent, collaborative, but most importantly, participative. We want the citizens, the federal workers, and everyone involved to participate in this open government piece. Just as the UK had a historical announcement this morning about their open government initiative, which was quite a big thing, we want the citizens to drive open government around the world. Doesn't mean you just have to be an activist. You've got questions about information you want, and that's what all of you are here for, is to help drive that. So how are we going to do that? How are we on the government side going to facilitate it? We're going to do it by putting out raw data. Well, are we really going to do that? Let's go through some of these slides and see what happened at our conference. We had a problem with scheduling, just as we do with most senior leaders in the government anywhere. We wanted the secretary to give the welcome at our conference. He wasn't available, but he did have his chief of staff who adjusted his whole schedule so he could do our welcome. Our keynote came from 2 of the leaders in the Open Government Initiative, Sir Tim Berners-Lee and the federal CIO, Vivek Kundra of the United States. The talks were great. We had a setting to where they could sit on stage. Questions were posed from the audience. These were not softball questions either. We had people throwing up questions like we heard today and at the news conference. Some that were downright hard to answer. And then we had it virtualized. We were running a virtual environment during the whole event. And then we had a whole bunch of others. Oh, the heck with these slides. Let's go somewhere else and see what we can find on the web for our stuff. Oh, here's the whole agenda. Everything. And all of those 306 slides that I had in here, plus a few extra, you can find those out here. Oh, that's the keynote page. Sorry about that, folks. There's the agenda. It is the whole agenda. The presenters who had slides, you'll find them on a download. The link to this is data.gov/conference. You'll click on the agenda item at the bottom of that page, and it'll bring you to here. There's also another item at the bottom of that first page that will give you those are the 3 links. That'll give you the whole program guide. But what is it? What is data.gov, and what are the US and the UK and all of you nations? There's 30 nations, Rufus? 30 nations participating in this data count. That's more than any data count or any conference of any kind that I have seen around the globe. And I've seen a few, from Korea to the UK to South Africa. But the energy at none of those were what I'm seeing here. The interaction of you talking, you posing questions, you driving the agenda. Not the government, not us. We provide information, you help us provide it in the right manner, and you help us to maintain the honesty and the integrity of putting that out to the people. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, to me it means you're responsible for it. Every one of you in this group are responsible for asking those questions for the people who can't ask them. Trying to find out and help us to make sure the data that we put out there is the right data. Putting out data is sort of easy for us in the US. We also publish what data we have. We hold the agencies accountable. And I like showing Commerce because for the next 2 years, we're still going to be the leaders. After that, our National Archive are going to be the leaders. They're going to publish 40 million records from the census of 1940. That's pretty cool. For all of those who are into genealogy, that's going to give you an asset of information never before available. Well, that's good. That's blowing all of our whistles and waving the flag for America. But let's talk about something that's really important. Let's talk about what the World Bank has done. The World Bank has probably one of the best websites for showing and opening data. We're going to have a presenter here from the World Bank, Mr. Eric Swanson. If you don't know him yet, get to know him. His folks back in DC, his counterparts, participated in our side of the conference. And it was outstanding to show how data can help other people around the world, because that's what we want to do. We want to make our governments accountable, but we also want to, create jobs. In this time of economic downturn, we want to be able to help people learn to get by. We want to show people what we can do as the government to help them understand the information that's being put out there. How are we going to do that? We're going to do it with every one of you and all of your counterparts who couldn't come to participate here or who couldn't participate in the States. December 4th, that has a big meaning, doesn't it?
There's a virtual hack day, both meeting up in person and on the web to do.
A virtual hack day. My goodness, another way you can help us. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go somewhere and do it other than maybe a little local travel. Yeah. We're going to have 5 right now, locations throughout the world. But that doesn't mean you can't set up one in your country and participate from there. So volunteer, see Jonathan, see Rufus, and make it happen. Now, with all of this great stuff going on, we hear many buzzwords. We talk about the semantic web, and you heard Sir Tim say one side, and you heard Tom say something else. And this is the kind of jovial banter and idea sharing that is going to make a difference for everything we do. And in that, I'm going to turn it back over to Rufus and to the next panel, and I want to apologize to them for stealing their time, and I want to say thank you to all of you for being here.
Thank you so much, Dave.